Welcome to the Call to Action podcast with Nicole Magic, where conscious awakened leaders listen and action takers are rewarded. Join us for the insightful wisdom of today's special guest with an irresistible offer. Hello, everyone. This is Nicole Magic with the Call to Action podcast, where professional service providers and strategists share their wisdom. It's 5 questions in less than 10 minutes because we value everyone's time and energy. So let's get on with it. Today we have Susan Lataille here, and I'm just going to jump right on in. Susan, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm Susan Lataille, as Nicole said. I am a certified master grief coach, and I work with women who would like to move forward in their lives, that would like to find who they are now without their loved one and how they can be happy again when they feel like it's just not possible.
Excellent. And people need that so much, what you do, because it's very unique. So knowing that, what piece of wisdom would you like to share today, Susan?
I think mainly that it's possible to heal from grief. It's possible to move on. And healing does not mean forgetting. Like, that person will always be in our heart. They'll always, their memories, their the life that we shared with them, no matter who they were, whether they're, a child, a spouse, a friend, a parent, they live on through us. So keeping them alive is wonderful. And I think the best way to do that is to continue to talk about them. Also, people are able to find what their life is now, whether they're already doing something that they love, that they just need to get back to and find where that passion is in remembering what they used to love to do. I think a lot of people, when they get into that grief state, they forget how and what made them happy other than their loved one. And it's about remembering what those things are, and maybe about discovering some new ones that can help us continue to live. We're here for a reason. We're here for a purpose. And sometimes that purpose also has to do with the loss of our loved one, which is one of the reasons I'm doing this. So there's many different ways that we can share our stories and share what we learn through the process, because it is a process. It's a process of just discovering ourselves again and really going through something that we just don't know what to do with. So it's about finding out what works for ourselves and what we can do to take care, to love ourselves enough to do those things that we need to do to get to that healing place.
That's so nice. And this actually brings up an additional question from some of the things that I've heard from my clients that have gone through some grieving process or had some things happen in the family, that, let's say it's somebody's sister's kid, right? That something happened, they passed away, and there's a level of guilt that comes in as that person is trying to move on with their life, as the family member is stuck in a space. So I guess my question around that is, your work that can help that person in that space too. It's not just for the immediate person, right? Can you help with the different situations within a family unit when it comes?
Yes, because grief is different for all of us. And also it depends on who the person is, but all grief is valid. It doesn't matter who you are and what relationship you had to that person. Grief is grief. And it's about honoring ourselves and who we are and giving ourselves that permission to grieve in the way that we need to. And if it's okay for us to move on and we're ready to do that, or we're ready to be happy and continue to live our lives, it's honoring that piece of us as well. And you could still support someone else at the same time.
Excellent. So I have a question about what obstacle became your greatest opportunity, Susan?
My obstacle was the loss of my son. My son passed over 4 years ago now from a brain tumor. And being with him and being his caretaker and watching his journey, unfortunately, had to be that way. I feel that I was able to find that place of happiness and find that place to be able to I don't really like the word move on, but continue to live my life and with purpose, that purpose of that loss. And thank goodness for all the self-growth and the spirituality and the everything that I did, 20 years up until present, that helped me get through all of that. So I was able to use, whether it was journaling, being grateful for, not for it happening, but that it happened in a certain way. And that's what really helped me get through the initial stages. And that's going to be different for everyone. And, I do this because I'm hoping that maybe some of the things that I did or that I've learned from other people that they did can help somebody else to get to that next part of their life.
And that's great to be such a wonderful resource of those techniques, information, and all of that. Is there anyone that you would like to give a shout out to for whatever reason?
I would say my coach, Carrie Cudmore. I've been with her way before my son going through his trauma. And she was just there for me every single step of the way. So I think it's important to have someone. It doesn't always have to be a coach. In this case, she was definitely instrumental in my life. As without her, I don't know where I'd be right now. She was just somebody to be able to talk to and that understood, being that personal cheerleader.
That's so nice. And it's very important to have somebody and not feel alone, right? Because
Right.
no one is ever alone. And it's just a matter of reaching out and having that support and knowing what that means for you, right? Knowing that there is support out there and finding what works for you. So thank you for sharing that so much. And now the final fun question is, what is your irresistible call to action for our action takers today who might be needing some additional help in finding that support?
I am offering a 20-minute clarity session to find out if we're a good fit for each other, to learn a little bit more, or maybe, we can work through something in that 20 minutes to see if you would like to work with me further.
Excellent. And that's really important, that 20 minutes is a good amount of time to really figure out if there's synergy there, what that synergy is, and also have a direction to go into. So thank you, Susan, for all that you do. Thank you so much for being here on this podcast today. Everything is going to be in the description. Susan, before we go, what is your website so that our action takers can move forward?
It's susanlataille.com.
Excellent. And the spelling is in the description. So just go there, click the link, and follow the directions there to book your 20-minute session with Susan and see how she can help support you in your journey moving forward with grief. So anyway, don't forget to watch the next episode of the Call to Action podcast, where conscious awakened leaders listen and action takers get rewarded. We'd love to hear your favorite takeaway from this episode, so leave a comment for us, and thank you for listening. I'm Nicole Magic. Have a spectacular day. Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone, and thank you for listening. I hope you found today's episode insightful and invaluable to elevating your own business.